mixed bag in that area of the game right now that both teams are going to have to work out, and they'll need to work it out on this map as it's incredibly important to your defensive play here on Villa. Let's see the bans though, as it's time to take a look at those. Habana is going to be the first one knocked out by eUnited.
I'm throwing it back a couple of months here on Villa and taking away the Habana. That's mostly due to impact tricking. Habana is the only hard breacher that really counters that out with actual hard breach instead of obviously just torching the wall open. The other two, quite easy to impact trick. Her, not so much. Disrupt going to ban away Ash. I can't blame them at all. Ash is just so happens to be Rexon's favorite operator on offense. I think I'm, connecting the two dots here.
So the Ash ban, of course, to hurt the United and Disrupt rosters quite a bit. Well, Y is going to be the next one, and that one also leads in and makes a lot of sense from Disrupt's perspective. Yeti was causing quite a few problems for the Disrupt roster, and it's also, on top of that, just a smart ban on this map. Well, Y has a lot of positions that he can set himself up for success on here on Villa, so knocking him out is really just a smart choice at the end of the day.
And lastly, we're going to have a Maestro ban here as well. So, okay. So, if I remember correctly, you can obviously tell me if I'm wrong, John, real quick. But last time I checked, Echo is indeed banned right now. So
he should be, yeah. Unless something's changed that we're not aware of.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that we both saw the same tweet. So Echo banned out right now automatically. You cannot play him. He's quarantined right now until he is fixed. Taking out Maestro takes out the other really, really good info/denial operator from the defense, and specifically takes away that huge chainsaw of a gun that we call the Alda. So the defense is going to be a touch weird for both of these sides when it comes to, the true anchor operators. We're probably going to be seeing a lot of SAS ops and Goyos and stuff like that, just for the more site-centric things. So starting this off here, we are going to be going to AVG as eUnited starts their defensive half.
Valkyrie, probably an operator we're going to see a lot of to make up for the lack of cameras, and of course just intel coming from those two banned operators. And of course we didn't see her last map since she was banned out, but since we flipped that ban from the Valkyrie over towards the Maestro, more than likely she's going to be brought in quite a bit to make up for that lack of the other two that we were talking about a second ago. Kansan is already going to take it up here on round number 1, and they will 6-pick it in hopes of hiding it. We don't have an IQ on the Disrupt side, so they are going to have to try and naturally find those. Otherwise, a lot of intel. Going to go over to United for free. AVG, as you said, is going to be the site setup. Everything looking fairly standard with regards to how AVG is normally played. Oh, never mind. I'll take that back. We do have the half wall here that's going to be left soft going in towards Study. And of course, the defenders will be able to try and utilize that to punish any Study control that Disrupt will look to get early on. But we're not necessarily going to get that, as we've got quite a few players lurking their way in over on Master side instead. So it could end up being a north to south take here from the Disrupt roster.
You know what they say about onions, John?
What's that?
They have layers. You know what this defense has? A lot of those. It has a lot of layers. There's so many things going on with this. Yeti and Rex can currently over in the trophy stat area. They've reinforced the triple wall fully for Master, as well as a single panel to defend them from anything from the Astro window to someone trying to pre-fire anyone holding through the arches. I mean, there's a lot of things here for eUnited moving all the way back to the site. So this more than likely is going to be them hopping out, early pressure here, trying to get drones, and then eventually move downstairs to try and prevent anyone from clearing things from that bottom floor. But there is a little bit of a weird thing going on with Disrupt right now as well. An operator that we don't see that much anymore, but he's still quite powerful. Lion being ran by NJR.
And I think he's got the
417.
Yeah, which is the DMR, which means he gets the extra scope, I think, as well, if I'm looking at that correctly. So he's going to be able to bring what it was, if I'm remembering how the scopes changed up correctly, that's the zoom that the old ACOG was using back before this patch. So he's going to have that extra zoom sensitivity to try and pick some shots with. We don't see a lot of the DMRs get brought in, which is the only gun that has those scopes on it. So just pointing that out for anybody who may have missed the patch or hasn't been playing as much recently about what's going on there.
And I will advise you guys that it's not a troll, in case, any of you guys are newer to, Rainbow Six Siege. That gun hits like an absolute truck. He can two-tap anybody on the defense, so don't worry about him trying to get some kills with that. But do be worried about eUnited's defense currently inside of the game's area. Almost every single wall opened by Disrupt now. eUnited trying to find some safe havens to work around. They need to get an initial pick here to really slow up this offense for Disrupt. They are manning every single door right now as they are picking apart where this utility is.
Rixer waiting for a potential swing here. Obviously, a lot of the control over towards Aviation itself has been lost now, and because of that half wall, they've got to be a little bit careful with how they swing. from the bar over towards Weapon Vault. NJR already going for a plant attempt here. A lot on top of that, but not enough to stop it from happening. Looks like NJR is safe in the back corner there. The smoke charge is not impacting until he tries to leave, when he then gets taken out there. Yeti and Rexon finding those 2 kills, but they're being traded just as much in kind by Retro and Shuttle, who take out Alfama and Rexon themselves. Reed probably with a free one right here, and there you go. Bye-bye to Yeti. Reed will try to hop back in, but he's going to be shut out by Kansan at the same time. These teams are fantastic at trading each other out, but who will win the actual duel? It's looking very much like a Disrupt victory right now as everything comes down to Grixer, but he's still got a chance to clutch it out in the 1v2. Hops on top of it. Will probably tap it in a second here to see if he can draw anyone out. Here's the pre-cooked nade coming from below. Is he going to be ready for it? Well, dodges quite a bit of the damage, but not all of it, and eventually is shut down by Retro as he swings in from Study.
Great round there from Disrupt, handling everything so well, forcing eUnited back into the game section of the site, taking control of Study from the windows, as well as getting top red control. There was a lot of positives there for Disrupt, even respecting the rotate through the 90, and they handled it in quite a weird way, which I don't think we're going to see very often. I mean, Yeti practically standing in front of the drone hole, allowing his feet to get shot, but that's not Yeti's fault really at all. I don't think that I've seen anyone get killed from that in at least recent history. So eUnited getting caught just a touch off guard there. DG making really good work though with that EE1D from Lion.
Definitely some nice progress made by the Disrupt roster. And now going to try and push the advantage even further. We'll take a look at the site selection here from eUnited, see if they chose to stick with that one or move on. I missed it myself, and it does look like they are moving on. So it's going to head over to Trophy Statuary now for United to try out their next defense. Not a lot of downstairs play coming in the early game here for United. This is a strategy that we've often seen a lot of our other teams here in the league try to pick up for themselves, but not so much for United. They're sticking with the tried and true sites, the double stack upstairs here to try and net them some of their first victories. First one unsuccessful. Time to see if they'll have any better luck here. And the overall strategy here from Disrupt is going to look very similar. MJR is back once again with that Lion pick.
I'm going to hold my breath until this is done to see where eUnited is going to set up fully, but they are going to extend things over into planes and games, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. It is going to be quite a few reinforcements dedicated over here as they're going to do all 4 walls for Study into the actual rooms. So that's a touch weird. They did end up reinforcing them from the Study side, so that is showing that things could more than likely get impact tricked if that's what they're going to be going for, with Yeti possibly playing in there. But again, this is something that we're going to have to wait on, because if DG goes for master control and goes for that triple, they really don't have anything to slow them down, all except for those impacts. So they're going to kind of have to space out where they want to use this utility, all according to how Disrupt wants to take.
Going to see not a whole lot with regards to trying to actively fight against this push so far from Disrupt. Still, of course, in the very early stages. But J9 is going to move in, take some of that initial control towards the walk-in. And of course, use one of his breaching charges to get the immediate access to Master Bathroom as well, stopping any attempts from United to try to play aggressively from the inside of said room. The aggression from United is going to come from other parts instead, most notably in Statuary, with Yeti holding this tight corner and the wrap around against anyone from Disrupt that would try to push in from Master. NJR is also positioned to try and punish anybody who might try to get into the way of that. Of course, we just saw the player who would do so a moment ago. And now, looking to open things up on the actual wall. Here comes the first breach, but unfortunately, it's going to get tricked out twice. And there's another one. I think that's all 3 of them gone. Oh, no! And to make it even worse, Retro gets sent flying by a Nitro cell from below. Retro, just not your day today, man. Just pack it up and try again next time.
That might have been the most unfortunate thing I've seen for a hard breach in quite some time. That was
I will punching say, bag on this round, man.
That's what I'm saying. And eUnited, how much better do you want them to play? They only had 3 impacts, and they brought them for that specific reason. Ace has 3 charges. That's exactly why they kept those alive, and they used every single one of them to get rid of all of the Selma charges. And the bad news is for Disrupt, they have no more hard breach. That was all of it. They thought that once they got through 2, they just throw another one on. It'd be easy, but eUnited already had something in the works to try and slow them down. Now eUnited just has to wait for Disrupt to try and funnel into sight, and this should be a pretty easy execute to clean up.
Disrupt, of course, trying to see if they can find any free fights for themselves to take here, but nothing's going to be free. Grixer moves up the stairs, picks up one for himself. Kansan deeper in the site, finds the second. The swing from the rappel hasn't even happened yet. Disrupts NJR trying to come around 90 here in hopes of picking someone up. there's already players seemingly watching that, although they may not be paying attention to the exact angle that NJR is on. Yeah, there you go. Still in the general vicinity, and in this case, that's good enough for Rexon. He takes out NJR. It's all down on a shuttle now in the 1vx, and he's not even going to be able to get one to start things out. Yeti shuts it down. It's a flawless round from eUnited on the second here for Trophy and Statuary, which will tie the game up at 1-1.
All based off of impact tricking. That was just a smart play by eUnited. They accounted for DG only bringing one hard breach most of the time inside of theme park. We move on over here. They're still only on one hard breach. They recognized that from the very first round and exploited it. Good stuff by eUnited, looking into what the opposing team was doing and making a game plan for it. We're now headed back to AVG here to see how successful this second defense will be from eUnited. We are going to be 6 picking away from the Goyo as well. Picking up the Mira, which could help out in certain regards. I want to see how they'll set this up. I don't think we'll be seeing it facing into study. We could be seeing it utilized in other ways, and I would like to see the other ways more often than I would like to see everything facing into study. That's never been the play. It was never the play. It's not the play today. It's not the play tomorrow. It wasn't the play yesterday.
It's a massive double-edged sword to try and put it on one of the study walls. So more than likely, we won't see that happen. There's just too much like cross angles where that shield can get taken out too easily, and then once it's open, it's just a massive window that the attackers can use just as much as you can. So more than likely, like you said, we're not going to see that play. Especially with cans and completing the reinforcements here. Just waiting to see if that second study or the fourth study wall technically gets reinforced. It's actually looking like very curious on this one.
I think they're going to be playing them
extended
for
room, right? Yeah, there we go. So he's going to set one up there. Second one, I don't even know where he's going to put the second one. So
he's going to put it right here with Rex, and this is a really nice setup from eUnited. I've never seen this setup before, but I really like what they're doing. So what they've done is they've split up the master take here from DG, so there's really no way to get away from a Mira window. So if they go into master, they either have to deal with Yeti on the double panel that they've now created for master, or they have to go through Astro, which is probably the worst option because Rexon stands there, and as we've seen from this matchup, Rexon doesn't tend to miss, so he's probably going to end up removing your head, and things are going to be difficult. The real way to try and deal with this would probably be from underneath, and that's exactly why J9's getting control of the kitchen. Those impact trick, or not impact trick, but impact under Yeti to get rid of that Mira window and force him to back up.
So far, the plan is working out here as Disrupt have started to play into those potential Mira window angles, but like you said, a lot of pressure coming downstairs right now, so they don't necessarily have the capability to make those mirrors work into their own favor just as of yet. Away from that, one of them has been popped open, the one that goes into Master. Not sure what the fate of the second one is, but either way, it seems like the players have had to back away from those two mirror windows anyway and play into the sites. The windows, at least at this point in the round, having very minimal effect on the overall success of eUnited here. Just going to see those roamers get pushed back to the site very early on, and Disrupt will still take control of that part of the map as you're seeing now.
Well, the problem is I don't even think that Disrupt knows that it's clear just yet. We know that NJR is working his way towards it, but from how he's playing these angles, we don't know if it's fully done and dusted. J9 now working his way into Trophy. Things been droned out, and they now know that this map control is in their hands. The rest of the drones now spun up for DG as they clear out 90 and the top of red. They forced eUnited all the way back to site, but at what cost? Already halfway through this round, as Yeti's already transitioned downstairs to play the Nitro Cell. This is looking very strong for eUnited.
Disrupt, of course, still with a lot of presence coming in from that north side push, mainly working their way in, possibly through red door to try and go for a plant there. I believe that's the same route they took to plant on the last attack here. J9 going to take a little bit of damage there as the sprays come in from both teams, and Yeti able to finish things off. The Nitro Cell that you'd been mentioning before, that's coming from below. Yeti will now be able to probably rotate back up through main stairs and rejoin the rest of the team. Retro, in the meanwhile, gets himself up on the terrace window and is able to open up one of the study walls for his team to start using a little bit of that pressure. Unfortunately, you still got top main stairs to deal with here, so while you have that angle open, you're not going to be able to move through it as a player. At best, you're going to be able to use it from out on the balconies to try and pepper some shots to the inside against players like Rexon, who are hiding deeper in sight by the gun vault. Ricks are already very much aware of this setup as well, and is looking to try and stop it from happening. NJR taking a lot of heat from the smokes. He's had to cancel his plans to plant there, more than likely, and back away for a few more seconds.
Oh, it's going to be a very harsh execute here. Hotly contested. Kansas still underneath with the nitro cell, and he knows that it's going down. He needs to throw it right now, though. And JR, explosion, but no, does it end up getting shot? The plant goes down. What just happened there? Disrupt with a harsh execute, but they get it to go through. It's down to Grixer and Yeti with still plenty of EE1Ds in the pocket as well for NJR, but a nice shot from Yeti cleans up the balcony, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And with only 30 seconds left on the clock, there's still people downstairs. It's all left up to Yeti, but he gets eaten alive by Shuttle from underneath, and Disrupt walks away with round 3 after what seemed to be the end of times for them at the top of red. So much utility stacked up as well, just didn't seem to really work out for them. I still want to know what happened with that nitro cell there for Kansan. Did he end up shooting it like right when it hit the ceiling from behind and then killed Kansan?
Yeah, I don't know if he meant to shoot it. It might have just been lucky recoil. But as far as I can tell, it looks like it got shot. Either that or like, yeah, something else weird happened with it. Because I don't really know why else it wouldn't go off at least. I didn't hear the audio cue or anything. And it definitely seemed like he, completed the animation on the cell phone there. So I'm pretty sure it had to have gotten shot, either whether it was by the player down below or if it just happened to get shot like through the floor somehow or something like that. I don't really know. That's definitely one to look back on the VOD for. But either way, great turnaround from Disrupt because they did not have the positioning to win that round. They were really struggling to try and get themselves in sight, but they made it happen, and they made it happen with like 3 entries that went unresponded to by eUnited as well. Really good stuff from Disrupt. Definitely going to help to build more and more of a lead here on this attacking half, as now we're going to see United shuffle downstairs after 2 unsuccessful attempts at AVG.
I think the biggest thing for Disrupt inside of that last round is even though things got quite hasty there at the end, I mean, we still had 3 E1Ds in the pocket of NJR, you know what I mean? We were moving quite slow there down to the last 15 seconds. They still checked all the boxes. They worried about the vertical play, they worried about the cross angles, and they somehow were able to fight through and get a diffuser down, even though you're having nitro cells, smokes, and practically the kitchen sink tossed at you. Very strong showing there from Disrupt.
So, round has officially begun now. Disrupt are out on the table. Let's take a look and see what exactly they are going to be favoring for the opening route on their attack. Quite a bit of a spread spawn here, so no discernible strategy right off the bat. But more commonly than not, we're going to see a lot of upstairs control. And okay, Kansan, I don't even know where he tried to peek from, but he's dead.
Oh no! Okay, Shuttle got on the roof and he pre-fired through the bore window and then killed him when he crossed through benches. That's exactly. Rexon, what? Guys, you can't let that one happen. What do you guys do? Oh man, what is happening this round? We didn't think that eUnited versus Disrupt was going to be, something to call on about, something crazy, right? I knew it was going to be a good game, but this is just something else. We've seen so many things you just never see happen in Siege.
Definitely a fun match tonight to cast, and very interesting start to the round. At a minimum, 3 players are dead before we're even a minute into it. That's a very rare thing to see in Siege here. Retro, we're going to see a Thatcher charge coming in there to assist him with being able to open things up with the Selmas. Possibly a duel looming as well from that player around the corner, but not going to see that happen this time. In fact, it's going to be up to more Rexon than anything else to try and resist that push from the ace. He gets an opportunity to swing back up here on those pantry stairs.
I think Grixer might be looking for a hop out over here inside of Bike. We saw him dash towards the Bike area, but ended up running back inside. And that's that thing going back and forth here. He checked it once again. Is he going to end up running out? He is. He's right outside Bike. And, oh, they're not going to have a read on it either. That's going to be a free kill onto Retro. That's huge. No longer having any overwatch over the actual pantry area or that side of kitchen. It's all vertical play now for Disrupt, as Reed and Shuttle are the only 2 remaining Disrupt members.
United definitely not wanting to let that last round go unresponded to, especially with the control they had leading up until the very end. So going for Crusher on this round. We're seeing some nitro cell damage coming out there too. Thankfully, Reed able to avoid the large majority of it, but another one going to be thrown here. This one might be a winner. Oh, almost. A solid 25 to 30 HP getting knocked off a Shuttle there, though. Both players now becoming slight victims of that. We're going to have a nade toss down the other direction this time. That one could also be a winner. And in fact, it's not going to be the nade that wins it, but at least pushes him into a position where Reed can take him out. That's Yeti on by the wayside here. Now the match being brought down into a 3v2. Shuttle and Reed trying to go for a top-down, bottom-up pincer maneuver here. We're going to see how well it works for them over the next few seconds. Still have Alfama, Grixer, and Rexon to deal with in the site. So no safe harbor being found just yet, but they're making a great effort for it. Shuttle with another kill from up on top, and of course some assistance coming in there from Reed. Reed now taking a lot of heat. In fact, he's going to get dropped. Still no diffuser under the control of the members of Disrupt either. And with both their players going down, eUnited take control over round number 4. We'll be tied yet again at 2-2.
Such a strong showing here by both of these teams. Massive misstep from Disrupt early on inside of that round, though. Practically costed it for him. The 2 kills happen inside a study after Rexon just rotates right down Classical Hallway. Picks himself up a double kill and says sayonara. Walks his happy butt right back to site and plays out the rest of the round. But Disrupt did not give up. The vertical play / pincer maneuver that Blue was talking about was actually played so well. It was a very, very strong setup there. Able to work quite a few angles, get some picks off of those frag grenades, as well as just pure gun skill. So nice stuff there from Disrupt. Really begs the question what would have happened if they were able to keep their 2 members alive early on.
Yeah, definitely, had the makings of a comeback there in that round. Unfortunately, things got shut down pretty quickly. We do have to remember, of course, the diffuser was still down on the outside too, and they were getting a little bit low on time, so they still would have had to figure out a way through that. More than likely, they were just trying to kind of frag their way through that from the looks of things, but yeah, it's not enough in order to come back on that round when United had found quite a bit of success in the early round, even with one of their players getting very unfortunately picked off within the opening seconds there by Disrupt. That was Shuttle that found that nice kill as well, just to kind of mention that in passing real quick.
Yes, absolutely. Well, eUnited back upstairs in a statue trophy. Let's see how well this goes. Banshees and everything along with it. Looks like they want to have a closet set up here, so we have 2 ADSs stacked up. No deployable shield just yet. We'll check in on that. Alfama does have one, so he can slam that down whenever he sees fit. Obviously, we're not going to have the Wamai in play since he is banned, so the burn inside of the closet is going to be a whole different ball game for eUnited. They're going to have to play safe around this, otherwise they're going to be losing a member quite early on here. It looks like it might be a faux setup, though. Looks like they've put the shield inside of the shower area, and are just going to use those ADSs for their proximity and picking stuff up instead. Oh, actually, I will do this for the 3rd time. Alfama's going to play in the closet and then back up to the shield. Hopefully no one makes it to his window before he does so, and then he's going to do that and throw it all out the window. Anyways, John, did you have anything to say? Did you?
No. You can take it away. I'm good.
Listen, man, Alfama's he's just doing right now. He's just doing, and now he's dead.
Now he's deading, unfortunately. So.
He's quite dead. Very dead.
A better word than that. NJR gets the first kill on the round there as they take the early control over towards bathroom. Kansan, the silhouettes lined up correctly, but the actual kill, unfortunately, is not going to happen as there's a big wall in the way there. Trying to see if anyone else will present themselves. Not going to happen. So Kansan also looks like he's going to resign to fall back a little bit closer to the sites. And that will give Disrupt the early control going into Master. Eventually the entire room as well, but they do have to be careful trying to move into the bedroom. You can see there's still this soft wall that's been left open for Rex and potentially some other players back in Trophy to play off of here in the event Disrupt go for the outright control. This is why they're focusing so much on the walk-in control and making sure they get that before they start to push themselves forward here.
Yeah, there's a lot of angles that Disrupt have to worry about in there, and that's exactly brought to light by Rex, and as you were saying, through that soft panel. But,
oh, no!
Oh, my goodness. Yeti tries to kill the guy at the window as Rexon crosses, and he ends up catching a bullet to the brain. Very unfortunate for eUnited as 2 members dead very early on. Both have had quite an influential time here on this defensive half. Alfama definitely need to stay alive with those smokes, but just unfortunate. And yet another big misstep here for eUnited on this defense as J9 gets yet another kill. Disrupt, not even really inside of the building, just kind of walking through eUnited as these gunfights do not fall on their side of the fence.
Yeah, a really big, fumbled round overall here so far from eUnited. Disrupt barely having to do much, as you were just saying here. Disrupt, they're, really taking stride in the successes that they found in this round. They're taking it super slowly, and that's been able to net them at least 1 or 2 of their kills, and then, of course, the 3rd one coming through very unfortunate circumstances via United. Yeti with a nice wraparound here, at least going to make up for the team kill from earlier by trading it out, taking down NJR, but whether they can outright come back from the 2v4, and if it was a 2v5 a second ago, still yet to be seen. Yeti not going to be able to push that advantage any further. Grix are going to get naded down the Astro stairs. It even rolls down with him a little bit there as well. Trying to play against the window player. In fact, aiming a little bit too high in that respect and now losing his opportunity. The others that are deeper out onto the site are going to confirm the plant, and Grixer will eventually be isolated on those Astro stairs and taken down by Reed on the inside of the bathroom. Disrupt take round number 5 and go right back into controlling the lead now at 3-2.
Oh, eUnited. eUnited. Their last defense here on Villa. Hopefully it goes better than that last round. We'll just count that as a botch. There was really nothing more to it. It's just the gunfights did not go their way. Especially after the early pick, it seemed as though eUnited felt as though they needed to equalize the man count very early on, and DG just snowballed. There was no stopping that train inside of that round. So they'll have to try and do it in AVG instead, which they found some success on. Not in the first round, but actually, no, I take it back. Not in either round. Disrupt ended up winning both of those rounds via plant. Apologies. I ended up having to mark something out from earlier because when we went to OT, I started using my next bracket instead of adding to the other one. So I messed up my own notes there. Apologies for that. But no, DG finding success on both of their offensive fronts here for the AVG attack. eUnited needs to get a game plan put together here. It doesn't seem as though they're going to be bringing anything that much different. It seems like they went back to the original game plan, actually, as Kansan's bringing the Goyo. Might be some different shield placements, though, as he is going to be putting one directly onto the vault plant spot. They are playing no more games. There's no pass and go. There's no nitro cells underneath. It's just straight up, we're going to throw all of the utility at this one area and hope that you can't plant a bomb.
All right, folks, so let's take a look at eUnited's setup once again. They've been varying it quite a bit on this site. Saw one round where they tried to play an extended mirror hold that unfortunately for them didn't lead to too much. And we've also seen this specific hold with regards to the way that they've set up their study walls as well, where they leave the one on the north-south facing direction soft there and potentially allow for themselves to play against any study control that Disrupt would more than likely try to go for. And this could extend out to like main stairs and can allow them to control that area late into the round as well. More than likely not going to see any initial play towards that segment of the map, though it does look like Disrupt is putting a lot of their pressure once again over here on the north side by Master and Walk-In instead of trying to go in the other way that I was just talking about.
Well, update from some of our good friends over on the analyst desk. Apparently that nitro cell from underneath on the prior round of the AVG defense got EMP'd midair.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's
timing
Siege,
of that, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? That's Siege for you. You think you have the thing to stop them when all of a sudden an electrical magnetic pulse goes out and destroys your nitro cell midair. I mean, hey, so
that's actually like so unfortunate. That might have killed like their planter in that situation. A lot could have changed up if that had gone off. So
I swear, there's never been a round that has been the exact same as the previous round in how things exactly break down, right? The Rainbow Six is just like that. I mean, there's a million things that can possibly go wrong, including an EMP that goes off and wipes out your nitro cell that you're throwing from below. It just so happens to be that time.
So, like, it's one of those like unaccountables where it's like it sucks, but like you can't roll like you just gotta move on from that situation.
You can't even be mad. You're just like, okay,
just like whatever. The game beat me right there. Like I'm just not gonna let that. I'm not gonna let that sit too heavy on my shoulders. Either way, Disrupt moving in, like I said before, with some early master control. Very slow to take it anywhere else. You might notice there's not a whole lot in terms of the roam game on this part of the map. At least not until you start to look at the lower floors. But regardless of that fact, Disrupt have really not decided to move in and take any early control for themselves here. Still focusing very much on the drone game, what we may be looking at in terms of roam presence as they get closer to the site. And now, just at this point, we're starting to see players like J9O move in and take that control away from United.
Well, United playing things a lot slower than we've seen them do prior. As you just said, no one over here inside of this setup, but they still have to worry about Rexon downstairs. That's going to be mostly on the drone game for the offense to try and pick up that roamer once he tries to go for that flank. Disrupt still setting up downstairs to make sure that no nitro cells can come through for this vault plant, but as we previously stated, eUnited is set up on all fronts for this. This is exactly what they want Disrupt to do, as they've planned for it. These Goyo shields as well as the rest of this utility. Disrupt is going to have to force themselves onto site now inside of this last round for their offense. Can they split it 4-2? That's the big question. Getting some last-ditch effort in here on the intel games. The first kill is going to be awarded to Grixer. First E1D in, shuttle shuts down Rexon on the rotate as Yeti picks up yet another kill from the site. Diffuser's down inside as well as the Banshee goes off, but it's holding them up inside of the smoke. It's doing so much damage, and eUnited with a well-executed defense here inside of round 6 thwarts the plans for the vault plant and are able to split perfectly 3-3 on their defensive side.
Yeah, I mean, Disrupt, in my opinion, messing up to a pretty big degree there because you can see they go for that very like one-sided push in through the red door, but they do it so late in the round, and there has been smoke play before this round, if memory serves me correctly, but they do it at like 20 seconds, and still all 3 of the smoke charges are available at that point. So it's a pretty easy job to just keep chucking those charges at the door and delay up until past the 0 timer, since he had all 3 of them remaining still. So not really sure like what the overall plan was from DG there, but they definitely didn't account for the utility that they would face at red door, and that came back to bite them and was ultimately their biggest obstacle with trying to actually get into the site there.
Yeah, but that's the weird thing though, is like we saw a lot of the drone game there for eUnited. They were trying to get some like last little bits and pieces of what was going on site. So it really does beg the question on where the previous intel was. Yeah, exactly. Like the problem with that is, John, there's no defender that denies info game for the defense on that setup.
Yeah.
There's none. eUnited doesn't have any. You can freely drive a drone into site and figure out what's going on. But they didn't know in the last 10 seconds, like we're still having to drone things and we're not set up for an execute. Very, very weird that Disrupt's offense took so long, just because as well, eUnited didn't even really set up over inside of Trophy and Stat at all. I mean, they threw the reinforcements up, but nobody played there. The only person that was even relatively close to that zip code was Rexon downstairs, and they still took all of that time to get set up and botch the execute. That's not something that's supposed to happen when you have that amount of space as well as time on the offense. Just not a very good round from Disrupt overall.
Yeah, definitely a weird run from Disrupt, but they're going to move past that, and thankfully they don't have to worry about their attacking rounds anymore as we flipped sides. 3-3 once again here. A very even game that we have in front of us, folks. United's now going to have an opportunity to try and shut things down for the series overall if they can close things out from the attacker's perspective, but it's Villa, so that'll prove itself to be quite difficult. Disrupt will have the opportunity as well to do just the same and send us over towards map number 3. It's going to be, of course, the Trophy and Statuary hold to start things out here for Disrupt to set themselves up in a fairly standard way here. You have the Goyo play coming in to try and delay things on top of Smoke. So United will have to clear out quite quickly to be able to drain all of this utility while still leaving themselves with enough time to get into the site. Already some focus from United going on to the walk-in. Following that one up, it'll probably be a quick clear into bathroom as well. In fact, we got 3 drones on right now, 3 active drones, I should say. 2 of them are going to get shot out here, but the other 2 players that are not on intel duty are quickly working their way into both walk-in and the master badge.
Not too much to worry about for eUnited inside of the vertical game. Mostly horizontal gameplay here for Disrupt, but again, that could change at any time. We do have some nitro cells on the board, and quite a few of them. 3 pieces of artillery inside of Disrupt's pocket that they could use later inside of the round. So eUnited with a good master showing right now is they're still getting map control and trying to figure out exactly how they need to handle this. Lots of angles being held from Disrupt, mostly centralized around the astronomy area, as well as a couple of shields facing over towards the master wall. This is mostly set up for Disrupt so that they have very good positioning in order to rotate back and forth. Specifically, that shield blocking the rotate for Astro, where people could transition into Trophy safely. But now that that's gone, they're able to hold the splits, and eUnited needs to try and force control of this Astro area.
Kansan actually really close to seeing the player on stairs, just hasn't been able to realize the angle out just as of yet. J90 is going to take a lot of heat in the meanwhile. J90, excuse me. Yeti's going to be able to take him down. NJR quickly responds, though, with a shot against Yeti, but he also is going to fall to Rexon, which was the player I was talking about before that was so close to finding that angle. Retro swings and finds success, but it's short-lived. Grixer adds another one to the counter here for eUnited, and Alfama will put the diffuser down. Timer will start ticking in the opposite direction, and now Disrupt have to panic. Retro and Reed looking for the 2v3 clutch. Retro with a very advanced position, though. He could find some pretty big impact here, but he needs to account for the players still in aviation, and he's doing just that. Some shots ringing out against him, though. They spot him in advance, trying to make it work with a shotgun. Rexon picks up yet another kill. Retro with a little bit of style on that one takes out Alfama, but unfortunately he's now alone as well here in a 1v2 scenario. He'll be taken out by Grixer further back in aviation, and eUnited will win their initial attacking round.
Nicely done there by eUnited. So they get master control. They end up getting the walls open to hold down split, as well as get rid of that pesky shield that we were talking about. Initially, I thought that they were going to be going for more of a stat-centric plant, not over near the actual statue, but near the central area near the bomb chassis. But instead, they just hold on to the closet control to play for a rotate from Astro. Super smart, especially when they have the control over inside of planes, as well as the red area to really lock down any rotation into benches where they were able to put that diffuser down right inside of the door. So got the proper areas that they needed and found the space to put the diffuser down, played for the post plant, and it was just so well done on those crossfires. Disrupt trying to battle back into the round, but just not able to do so after some really good control from eUnited.
All right, folks, eUnited in control yet again. Can they keep it that way? That's the question. we're going to go to a site for Disrupt here that is yet to be played so far in this map, but is one that we've been seeing more and more of since the beginning of Stage 2 here at the NAL. It's going to be downstairs here in Living Room and Library, a massive site in terms of its scale, and also a massive site in terms of what the defenders need to do to properly play into it. There's an extension that will be used by roamers and potentially anchors as well to hold upstairs here and make sure that that control is maintained. You're going to see these shotgun holes being made inside of Gun Vault. Those are very important because more than likely they are going Disrupt this is going to try and route the attackers through the two soft walls in the middle of the screen now, which has that dresser in the middle of it. If that ends up happening and Disrupt still has control over the Gun Vault area, they can immediately start peppering shots through that top-down angle and shut down any attacker that tries to take control from that angle.
And we've seen that handled in quite a few different ways from the offensive front as well. Granted, some of them not very successful, but we have seen some different iterations, like some very cheeky smoke plants going down by the offense, as well as using that center pillar that we saw next to the arches area in order to put that diffuser down, right next to the bomb chassis right there. Thank you so much, Cyan. I appreciate it.
I think it was OXG that was like really good at countering this with smoke play, if I remember it correctly.
Yeah, it was Slash. He like crawled under the hole and planted inside of the smoke. There was a lot of really cheeky things going on that OXG was able to pull off on this site. And I believe it was up against Disrupt as well, because I remember Retro playing this position on A.
Yeah, nonetheless, though, it's still a pretty tough cookie to crack with more with regards to the upstairs hold than anything. So oftentimes you see like either that smoke play or they just outright try to take the duels and the top down angles against those players and in hopes of not having to fully clear out aviation in games. Because when we've seen teams try to do that, it often, from what we've seen anyway, to be fair, this is kind of a limited selection, but it oftentimes does waste like far too much time on the clock for the attackers, and then they don't have enough to actually clear out downstairs as well. So a lot of the times they just choose to kind of go right into it here. Speaking of going right into things, we're going to get into our first fight of the round. NJR taking some heat early on, although he seems to flame out a little bit more of it there. Sends Kansan down to a little over 25. There's an attempt from Yeti to come in and try to trade that damage back, but it's not going to be realized.
Played out extremely well there by NJR and able to get away with his full life as well, which is something right out of a James Bond movie, just avoiding every bullet and able to sneak out slyly downstairs with all of the treasure in his pocket. So let's see if NJR can have a later impact on this round, because for now, he's just going to have to wait. Some bullets landing right at the feet of Alfama. Don't know exactly where from, but doesn't seem like an angle from the defensive side. It seems like somebody just possibly messing around with him or something along those lines. eUnited having most of the control here, though, on the kitchen side of the map. Still have to worry about NJR on a possible flank, but setting things up nicely. We're getting down to that time where we're going to see this execute come through. These top angles going to need to do a lot of work. More than likely need to burn out on site, though, so they can confirm these smokes. And that's a big pick early on here from Retro, as we just got down to the last minute, and that is from so far away. NJR with yet another, and a double for him. That's 3 kills down for eUnited. Finally with a refrag is Yeti, but not going to have too large of an impact now. Diffuser down. It's only Grixer and Yeti left alive for eUnited. Lots of work to be done and not very much time.
Big mistake from eUnited to leave NJR undealt with, and as a result of that, he goes crazy, knocking out 2 more players on his rotate back up there. Retro, I think it's spotted by that. Jordan doesn't seem to care too much, though. He just casually takes it out, and here's those top-down angles that I was talking about before. The 2 remaining members of eUnited trying to shuffle in through those walls, but in the 1vx, it's just going to be too much to ask of Grixer here. The time will run out, and Disrupt will immediately respond on round number 8 with a round of their own. Keep us tied yet again, I believe at 4-4 currently.
Plenty of plants going down as well inside of this series. eUnited on Theme Park alone had 3 plants on their offense. They already have 1 right now through 2 rounds, and Disrupt on their offense on this map had 2 plants as well. So the objective play by both of these teams, stellar so far throughout this series. We're still tied up here, so we're jumping into AVG for Disrupt's next site. But previous round, though, just not going well for eUnited. Didn't respect the roam game that was going on for NJR, along with some other things. Specifically, just really not getting towards the site and clearing out and setting up for that plant. It really seemed as though NJR caught them off guard, and they never really got past worrying about that roamer.
And obviously with his impact coming in relatively late into the round, it didn't really leave a lot of time for eUnited to actually, bounce back from that deficit either. Really good play there from NJR, showing once again why he's been talked about so much whenever discussions around Disrupt are brought up. Disrupt now going to shift their hold upstairs into AVG yet again here. And we'll see if eUnited will have luck in continuously trying to trade out these rounds, or if Disrupt is going to be able to take the reins once again here and the lead along with it at 5-4 if they find success for themselves. Doing that same half-wall setup, it looks like on the north-south wall into Study. There's a little bit of soft destruction there, and the other one's been reinforced, so some very similar flavors as to what we saw from eUnited back in the first half.
Some very unique reinforcements here inside of the actual bomb site. They've split up what seems to be the middle wall here with 2 reinforcements as well as some holes for Retro to throw smokes through later on. But this is going to allow them to play some different positions inside of the game's area. This is basically set up as the safe place for the defense to play from and try and contest anybody getting inside of planes, rather through utility or through just, a hail of gunfire. So we'll see if that plan works out for Disrupt. Bad thing is, though, eUnited does have pressure from downstairs. Whenever the skeleton key work starts, that's when this round's going to get interesting.
Alibi, of course, coming into the fold here as well. Some potential for eUnited to get tripped up by the utility, but I would assume that they're not going to be countered by that so much. And even so, we've got an IQ anyway, so that'll deal with that relatively quickly if she is given the opportunity to pepper some shots through the floor. Yeti, in the meantime, here at the bottom, and he's not alone either. Quite a few players grouped up with him, potentially trying to look for the opportunity for that swing. NGR is, in fact, going to take an opportunity for himself. Those try to temporarily go down those stairs, but is quickly flashed out, and he's now going to fall all the way back to 90. Retro going to take the same note as he falls back into bar. The extended hold at the top of the main stairs has now been thwarted, whether that was the intention from eUnited or not, and they now have free reign over that part of the map.
Well, Yeti starting up some skeleton key work downstairs as Disrupt is spread out quite evenly. A yellow ping comes out, and Yeti making quick work of NJR inside of 90. Almost gets another one, but Retro only going to take a little bit of damage. Nothing to call home about just yet. eUnited making good time right now. Minute 10 seconds remain as they're starting to wrap around this site and get ready for execute.
Trying to deal with the Goyo shield, it looks like here. Reed, careful.
Yeah, let's Reed, let's hold off the shield for a second.
Put
there,
that
bud.
away.
All right. There, let's get rid of the ace utility. Let's do that. Let's not blow ourselves up, Reed. All right, let's slow the roll here for just a second. Anyways, 45 seconds remaining on the clock as Disrupt continues to cling on to this site. More hard destruction going through, as I believe that's going to be the last Selma charge for Alfama as it goes off. Last impact for the defense as well, as they've been drained of most of their utility, all except for Shuttle's Nitro Cell, which could play a pivotal role inside of these last 20 seconds. Worried about the flank now, and he should be. Yeti gets downed at the top of red. Nice pickup here for Shuttle as he transitions into Bust. J9 makes it even more difficult for eUnited to make quick work of this, but it's going to be Rection to start things off. J9 with a nice refrag as he's playing the rotate hole. He has to worry about both of them on bookshelf. Can he do it? Last one alive with the pistol. Almost gets the pistol whip, but it's more like pistol clipped down as Grixer rotates in through the hole, but doesn't have enough time. Actually, has enough to start it, but more than likely not going to be enough to do anything else. Nitro Cell out, hops off immediately, does not want to get blown sky high, and ends up giving up the round instead.
Got to conserve the KD, right?
That's what I'm saying. Got to make sure those CGG stats look good.
Well, it's gonna work in his favor, of course, in the long run there. But obviously, a lack of success from eUnited on the attack now puts Disrupt in control of this matchup, at least for the time being. Some early success seemed like it was being found from eUnited, specifically with how quickly they were able to clear out the hold at top main stairs. But when it came time to transition those players into the actual site, never really saw a whole lot of success to that degree. Much like many rounds in the past, of course, in this series. Flustered for time towards the end of it. Well, it looked like they were waiting for Yeti to get into position to try to make a play from his position back over by Red, but that never really happened due to the rotate from Shuttle, which shut him down. And at that point, like I said, only 20 seconds remaining there. eUnited had to try and make a play. Didn't have the positioning. More likely, they didn't have the intel or the utility to get that done either, so they get torn apart by Disrupt.
Both of these teams have been very strong from the defensive side when it comes to messing with the pacing of the game. And Disrupt has done a very good job, specifically instead of that last round matching the pace in which eUnited was taking. They cleared out a lot of stuff from down low. Really like the IQ work there from Rexon. Very strong early on to clear out most of the ADSs and get a lot of those electronics off the board for the offense. Matched that with some skeleton key work, able to not only kill someone, but also deal some really good damage, as well as force the defense to worry about that verticality from underneath. You thought the execute was going to go really well for eUnited. They didn't have to worry about anything eating up any of their throwables, but once they get down to the actual site work, Disrupt just picks them to pieces. eUnited not really having the map control that they needed, specifically like what you were talking about, Yeti not maintaining the top of red control next to the bus door, obviously, was really the key that they needed to actually get that execute to go. All of a sudden, when Yeti dies, it goes from a 2 front attack to a 1 front attack, and those are never good.
And to be fair, Yeti was finding some good impact up until that point. The Bucks actually proven itself to be quite useful here for Yeti specifically, which is not something we often say about Buck given his recent history, especially after his frag grenades were removed. But Yeti's thriving on it, definitely making some good plays. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to carry it through into the late round there on that previous round. A little over 2 minutes left here, still plenty of time for United, but they're looking to make quick progress regardless with taking control of Walk-In and probably Master Bath beyond that. NJR taking that very, very tiny angle to punish anybody here from United. That's gonna want to try and take even further control and maybe even get aggressive against the players holding on the inside of Astro. Not going to see much develop from that as of yet, though. A few players from United, in fact, shifting away from this push and looking for other options to get themselves in and make this more than a one-pronged attack as well.
And they got the initial tidbits done here. Now they just have to keep someone there to man master and make sure no one can possibly rotate in while they go for, well, other areas of the map. Looks like they want to go for a study clear here, and Shuttle could play a big piece in this. He does have a nitro cell, so he could get some cheeky kills from below off of some audio cues. Or could just drop off and rotate back to site. There's a lot of options here for him, and since the timer is starting to dwindle down for eUnited, this execute more than likely going to be coming here near that 20-second markers. They still need to get control of this south side of the map, push it up towards 90, and start putting pressure on from these two doorways.
Continuing to wait for an opportunity to strike, and he might as well get it here. The nitro cell goes off, a little bit off the mark for trying to actually take out a member of United, although he does get a little bit of damage onto Kansden. Once got swung on, though, by another member of United, so lucky to survive that encounter, to be honest. Kansden, in the meantime, starting to clear at the top of red here. I'm getting a little bit lower, and United with a good amount of control, they're starting to look for their possibilities to go for a plant. They're right at the door of pushing for that. J9 as well, hunting for a drone. Very careful so as not to give himself up in the process due to the fact that they have lost connector control, and now Kansden getting himself a plant just on the inside of the door. Will it go off? Let's see. They're trying to deny it with the smokes, but those are misplaced. They have no idea where the plant's even happening. Here comes the swing on the stairs. One player goes down, but Shuttle is going to be immediately traded. Kansden pushes the advantage even further. The kills are going off all over the place. Kansden even finishing off Shuttle with his knife right there, but Alfama able to get one more to put eUnited back in control. At least for now. Here comes the swing from J90. He's going to take back top red control. He knows he's got a player on the corner over by 90, but he can't win the fight. Initially throws the nitro cell to do it instead, but no, it's not going to get him the kill. And Kansden takes out J90 on top of it. Alfama will finish things off for eUnited as they take round number 10 and tie us up for the whatever time it is in this series that we've been tied up now. I lost count a while ago.
Yeah, you really should have. And the reason for that is that, John, we are on the absolute teeter-totter right now, my man. We have not had a round go through that has been not answered, all except for one set, which was DG's previous two defenses, Living Room and ABG. All the way through Theme Park, it has been on the teeter-totter of going back and forth inside of rounds, all the way up until those two OT rounds on Theme. So these two teams seem to be equally matched here, and I mean, that's a really good sign for Disrupts. eUnited has made some waves in these previous weeks, and seeing Disrupt be so successful against them, especially on maps that require not only fragging power, but, you know, utility management. You know, there's so many layers to these things, and they're doing well. It's nice to see Disrupt playing good once again, but that previous round, quite the awkward one for both of these teams, specifically because we had a diffuser go down with everyone alive.
Yeah, definitely really awkward with regards to how the map control ended up swinging too. Disrupt constantly trying to get in the way of eUnited, but never really finding the right place to do that. And even at the end, when they tried to deny the plant, you know, throwing the smoke grenades kind of in the wrong position. I think they were assuming it was getting planted from outside a master door right there. Either that or it was just misthrown. Obviously couldn't see it too well from my position, but either way, a lot of confusion on the Disrupt side about what exactly was going on there, and certainly builds up as the reason why things ended up going badly for them after the plant goes down. The good news, though, for Disrupt is they've unlocked Living Room and Library for play once again, and this went very, very well for them the last time they played it. So eUnited have to step up in a big way if they want to be able to take control here and get themselves up on a map, and in their case, a match point first.
Well, we'll see if they can close it out here inside of round 11 to try and get up to that. Nice operator lineup here by the offense. This is what we've been seeing them run most of the time. Kansan still on that Nomad from the previous round. That AK-12 actually working out for him on that last round. Has that deep mag capacity that you're looking for if you need a lot of bullets. And Kansan put it to good use to get quite a few of those kills. So see if he has the same amount of influence. Disrupt, though, already having to worry about some hard destruction going off from the offense. Didn't see exactly where it was, but we'll assume it's inside of study for the time being. Actually, no, it's not. So I'll update you on that later on here, but Disrupt, for the most part, still having quite a bit of control. eUnited working themselves into study. Alfama, as well as Kansan, partnered over here on this side of the map.
Reed waiting for an opportunity to strike against eUnited. If they go in for study control, it's going to be found out by the drone coming in from Kansan. But we're not going to be too scared to continue to maintain this position. In the meanwhile, Kansan is going to set up at least one air jab for himself to prevent a quick roam around in the event. We'll see the Valkyrie Reed try to swing into that. But Kansan out. He'll commit to the push. Reed still waiting on the bottom, but first fight's actually going to happen elsewhere as Yeti finds success taking out NJR. Alfama now moving in with Yeti and the rest of his team as they are trying to clear out the extended room and doing a fantastic job of it. Another kill found by Kansan. That's going to take out Reed over by main stairs. Shuttle will get one against the United for the troubles that Disrupt his face so far, but again, much like many kills in the past, short-lived and immediately traded back. United very much controls the situation right now with a 4v2.
No real burn here from eUnited, but they are going to get caught off guard as Alfama rotates upstairs. That's cased down inside of the 90 hallway, but they immediately pick it back up. They now have to worry about shuttles. He's adjusted himself inside of the study area. All right, on the tailcoats. Or coattails, excuse me, of Yeti as he transitions through the vault. Starts up that plant, but immediately hops up. Oh no! He ends up getting one right outside of vault here, and that's going to be, once again, them down. Obviously can't plant up here as it is living room. Retro and Shuttle both paired on trying to take down the last two remaining members.
United have to be so angry at themselves right now with Retro's most recent kill. It's all down to Rexon now. He does have the diffuser, at least he's been able to recover that. So he moves himself into sight. He's just going to try to force the issue, I believe, here. And if I'm looking at this correct, there's no one from Disrupt that's going to be able to really stop him. He will get this to a post plant. The problem is, can he take it any further than that? Immediately has shots coming in from all directions, takes out the first player, tries to get the second, but no, Shuttle will win it out here for Disrupt. And a massive round it was from Shuttle there, bringing his team back from the brink, picking up so many important kills and allowing them to push up onto map point first here. 6-5 is going to be the scoreline. Disrupt currently controls the map.
I don't even know what to say when it comes to that. That was an amazing clear there by eUnited upstairs that just went completely sideways off of some really good plays from Disrupt. That was their time to try and, well, for the most part, get out of the line of sight of eUnited. They needed eUnited to not know where they were, and that's exactly what they did. They ended up transitioning upstairs off of some areas that weren't droned out or didn't have anything for eUnited to really see with, and were able to make a massive impact on that last round. That's exactly why Disrupt ended up winning that. The two SAS operators clutching it out. See, the SAG players can still do stuff, guys. It's just that, you know, sometimes they're locked to sight and they don't have as much fun as the other people.
That's also another reason as to why that attack is so hard for some teams, is because of the fact that, okay, even if you fully focus on the upstairs clear, deal with the extended room on the inside of Aviation and Games, and, you know, in nearly flawless fashion, as eUnited was able to do for themselves, you still more than likely don't have intel as to what's going on downstairs, and that opens up the possibility for those players to start roaming against you, exactly as Disrupt did right there. It's a really tough site to play against as an attacker. eUnited trying to do it to their best, but with Kansan also having the air jab, not in the greatest position there, that allowed for Shuttle to start lurking through study, which of course Yeti's not going to be expecting because he assumes anyway that the air jab's still back there, so he gets taken down and the whole domino stack just starts falling down from that point forward, unfortunately. So really well played there from Disrupt, and a really, you know, nice audible to call to start getting more aggressive after they lost the upstairs control.
Yeah, eUnited really just needs to wash themselves once they get into that instance. I mean, they know that Disrupt's going to fight back and to not have anyone worrying about a possible flank, even though obviously it could be very rare in those instances. I mean, at that point, we're talking about 2v4 or 2v5. They were still able to pull it off, and everyone was just looking the wrong way as Shuttle walks up the stairs and kills half your team. So that's just one of those things where, I mean, you might not think it's going to happen, and there might be an air jab there, but I mean, they can still make a rotate happen, and that's exactly what happened inside of that last round. So eUnited now have to push it to OT if they want to close out here on Villa.
All right, guys, will we get OT for the second time? Let's find out. It's up to Disrupt to decide that for us now. They can take us right over to map number 3 on Clubhouse if they win this round, but if not, if we continue to see those rounds traded out time and time again, and it is going to go to another 3 rounds to decide how this map ends. Remember, this is the same position Disrupt was in on the previous map as well. They were the first to get themselves up onto map point. Now they've got to bring it back for themselves. One step in the wrong direction there for Shuttle leads to his death. Yet he was waiting for a player to make that mistake for at least the last 30 seconds, potentially longer than that. And Shuttle, unfortunately, was the player to do so. Early kill goes to eUnited.
On a very cheeky angle as well. Never really see somebody die from that skylight. It's usually, well, used to be really utilized for frag grenades to go through and try and kill people in that area, but a gun works just as well, as we've just now learned.
Maybe Yeti was just like living in the past with Buck there. He went up there thinking he still had his frags.
Well, if you want to do the grenade one, you actually have to like Hail Mary it off the opposite skylight. It's the craziest thing. Whoever figured that angle out, I mean, props to you, man. You spent way too much time on this Villa map. I can tell you that right now.
Yeti doing some good work once again in the early round, though, as he often has throughout the course of this second half here. Definitely the player that eUnited's been looking to make impact in the early round and possibly open up, or close, I should say, other rotation angles and just alleviate some of the pressure points that the main bulk of eUnited is looking to get control of themselves. Retro lined up, trying to look for a headshot here as he swings out a bit from his shield, but quickly goes back to it after the response from eUnited comes out there as well. We're going to see the Selmas try and get open the wall, which Retro is hiding behind there, so he's got to fall back even further to the inside of Astro. That's the kind of initiation point that eUnited needed here. They've got the 2 angles to be able to move in, take control of Statuary, and try to go for the plant. That's a very aggressive play from Alfama, swinging directly to the inside of Bathroom. And while he'll go down, thankfully Grixer will take the angle in response to it, trading that out. But unfortunately for them, Disrupt still has plenty more utility. J9 getting one for himself. Kansan following it through, taking out J9 directly after that, though, and now trying to get the plant down in the midst of the site. No nitro cells remaining on the 2 players that are still up here for Disrupt, but they do have some shotguns to work with. Oh, a little too slow on the transition, though, from Retro, so he gets taken out by Grixer, and now everything falls to Reed in the 1v3. If he clutches this out, we go to map 3, but if not, it's OT yet again. Grixer finding some great impact for eUnited to make sure they stay in control and that they take this to an additional 3 rounds.
The more and more things change, the more and more they stay the same, John, as we have 2 plants down by eUnited on their offense and 2 plants down on their offense from Disrupt. So, I mean, hey, the mirror matchup right now between these two, both of these teams playing so damn well. Nice change up there from eUnited. I really was worried when it came down to the execute, though, just because the man count inside of Master wasn't what I expected it to be for that execute. I expected them to really have someone there to watch the Bathroom rotate while Alfama worked the breach, but Alfama ends up having to do double duty. He gets taken down, but eUnited still able to clean up the round off the back of his efforts, able to get that wall open and create some new angles that were utilized by the offenders to kill those 2 rotating through the Bathroom. So some really good stuff and heads up play to eventually adjust over to Trophy.
Both these teams are playing their hearts out to try and Disrupt's case stay in contention here, and in eUnited's case seal the deal. Disrupt are going to get the initial start on defense here in OT. It'll flip, of course, every single round for those of you who are unaware about how OT works in Siege. Disrupt is going to play downstairs into the kitchen site first here. eUnited have to attack it. So let's take a look and see how exactly they're going to approach things. Very similar flair brought to the table with regards to eUnited's operator lineup, so not much changing in that respect. And Disrupt also bringing a very safe flavor of operators for defending here. Most notably, of course, seeing the Goyo come into play, an operator that we've already seen played by Disrupt multiple times in their defense. And of course, that's a nice setup there in Bathroom too to try and stop eUnited from getting pressure for themselves. The Pulse also coming into play here for Reed too. Definitely going to be very impactful if it's left undisturbed throughout most of the round.
Well, it should be for the most part no IQ in play for eUnited, but they do have those pesky EMPs, which ended up thwarting a round earlier on. Could definitely happen again. So, eUnited mostly focused around this upstairs offense right now into Master. Going to get some things cut up around the rest of the site, though, as Rexon and Alfama are focused on the pantry wall. So EMP goes down. Now they'll have the line of sight to be able to cut up all of the kitchen area. DG's efforts mostly going to be focused around dining.
See quite a few players from eUnited looking to get that upstairs control pretty quickly for themselves to a big stack on the balcony. Flash is going out against J90. He's got himself a bit of a risky angle here. Obviously, he can find quite a bit of impact from it, but if he's spotted either by just a loose drone that comes through that he doesn't see or some other method, that's very easy for them to shoot back against him as well. He's aware of this, though. Here's the drone noise. Very quickly backs up from that punch hole or that bullet hole that he made for himself so that he can quickly take out the drone if it does swing all the way through. In fact, he's gone all the way back to the inside of Trophy now. Doesn't want to take a chance on that angle now that he's been spotted out, or at least there's the possibility that he got spotted out by a member on eUnited.
Now, this entire setup right now for Disrupt is focused around this Master Take and slowing it down as much as possible. Goyo shields, Banshees, as well as a Jaeger in tow to slow them down from attacking the triple wall. Nitro Cell outside doesn't get him the kill. It doesn't. Able to transition away fast enough on the rappel simply because of how quickly you can move. Grixer quite a bit of damage dealt to him, but it's actually Yeti that dies first with a nice headshot from J9, still playing inside of Trophy. Their plan to slow down the Master Take has worked. This execute getting harder and harder by the minute.
Quite a few players taking damage here as well. Grixer and Rexen really mortally wounded now. Gonna have to be very careful with how they select their fights throughout the rest of the round. A little over a minute remaining here, and we have seen J90 fall back, no longer maintaining control over Trophy, and instead playing for downstairs pressure now. eUnited are going to shift in kind and very quickly try to move in and take control of the site, but Alfama is also going to be shut down immediately upon trying to do that. Grixer again coming in to save the day here with a trade, brings it back down into a 3v3, but with their players as lit as they are, they've got to be careful. A crawl in fact, from Grixer gets him his next kill, takes out Retro, Cans, and also got J9. Everything's on Reed now in the 1v2. Still 30 seconds of play remaining as well. Reed needs to be very, very careful here about how he tries to play this out, because United still need to go for the plant. If he can deny that, then he might have a chance, but no, Kansan shuts it down. United take the initial round of OT, and they're only one more away from shutting down the series.
What a round by both of these squads. You thought it was going Disrupt's way for just a second after things worked out pretty damn well for them upstairs. But when it came down to the site execute, eUnited simply forcing their will, John. There was nothing more. No utility usage, nothing. They simply said, we want to plant a bomb. And they made it happen. That was so incredible from them. Grixer straight up crawling through a Banshee to get the angle that he needed onto the dining table. Some great stuff there from eUnited as we're headed into one of our possible last rounds here.
It's not the first time they've kind of thrown Alfama at something thinking they could make impact either. So a little unfortunate.
You know what the weird thing is with me for Alfama though?
Go ahead.
When they go for those aggressive fronts with him, there's really no one there to get the immediate refrag. He seems to be like the first one in the building, and then if you look behind him, the two silhouettes are just standing inside of pantries.
Yeah, it's almost like he's trying to just get going like for info almost, which is like, you're definitely, that's not, I hope that's not what the plan is. But
wrong operator, man. You need Yana.
It's just a really weird thing I've noticed where Alfama's kind of been thrown into the fire 2 times now at least, and has pretty much had the expected result of him getting immediately shut down. So
I gotta know those comms.
But yeah,
I'm so sorry. I gotta know those comms for that. Then if he's just like, hey man, do me a favor, can you run in the site and die? We need to know where they are.
Yeah, Alfama, go get them. Like they just coerce him in.
Alfama, I choose you. Go.
It's like someone keeps drawing straws and Alfama keeps losing or something like that. But yeah. Either way, well played by eUnited. They've got it up on match point now. Disrupt need to bring it back on an attacking round here, and we're going to see the return of quite a bit of their strategy from regulation. That includes NJR on the Lion. Retro's back on the Ace, of course, looking to frag out in his own respect. And let's take a look, as the site hold is going to be over here at Trophy and Statuary. Probably the best site we saw from eUnited on their defensive half, and definitely the rounds that they were able to win with the least resistance from Disrupt. So they need to be very careful. Much like I've said many times tonight already, they need to be very careful about how they approach this.
Absolutely, and like that's just overall inside of these matchups. Both of these teams are one simple misstep away from this round going completely haywire for them. Both of these teams have proven that if somebody's going to make a misstep, they're going to capitalize on it. So, I mean, adhering warning is not a bad thing ever, John, because both of these teams desperately need it right now. eUnited set up with a very horizontal hold here, but Grixer transitioning away from Rexen downstairs to play for the Nitro Cell instead. I like the setup, mainly because Disrupt more than likely droned out a little earlier on here, so the timing is going to be different on what Grixer is doing. And since he's transitioned all the way downstairs, this is a big area in which he gets to play around in with practically no drone coverage.
Rexen setting himself up for some aggressive play. Not going to do it at this very moment, of course, but has the possibility opened up for later should the need arise. In the meantime, though, we're definitely going to see some aggression, flashbang going in. That's more than likely going to blind both the players holding on the inside of the site right now. But the good news for them is Disrupt aren't committing to it just as of yet. They are going to use this to try to open up the walls. First one going to get denied there. An impact denial on the first Selma, but should still be 2 more in Retro's arsenal, and in fact there is, so plenty more opportunities still to be found here for Retro and other members of the team to open up the wall. There comes another EE1D charge. That's the second out of 3. They will spot the mute on the other side of the wall, and in fact Grixer, somewhere else on the map here, is going to be found out by NJR, kind of on his own little solo lurk on the Lion here, finding some success downstairs and possibly opening up another angle of attack for Disrupt to use.
Yeah, Disrupt making a lot of progress towards this execute. They're almost set up now, but since it's a statuary attack here, they have to worry about this Legion from Yeti, currently set up towards the southern side of the area. 40 seconds remain here. Plenty of time to try and get a drone in and get some site info, but this could be a very large problem. They have a lot of crosses here. Kansan holding through the breach as well, does some damage to Shuttle. This is going to be a very, very harsh time here for Disrupt to try and force their will onto the site. EU1D off, but we're not off to the races just yet. Some good intel and a frag grenade in tow to try and kill Yeti, but doesn't get the job done. He swings out, does a lot of damage, but it's not enough. Oh, there's a Gumai now inside this man's foot. He's not going to be able to put the diffuser down, but he's already been dead, killed, gone. J9 picks up the diffuser and starts putting it down now. He's almost through the plant, but it's Rexon on a heater. That's a triple kill for him. Taken down now, but into the 1 versus 2, not able to get it done. NJR with a triple on the round from the 417, and Disrupt force us to the limit.
Really, really close contention there, coming down to the wire in the final 2v2, of course, but Disrupt, they're able to make the effort to get things done, tie this game up yet again. I know, again, really sounding like a broken record on that, but it keeps happening. So we're going to be 7-7. Now it's up to this one final round to decide which team moves forward in the case of eUnited, if we see them winning here, and which team may take us to a third map if Disrupt is able to come out on top with the victory. One thing I saw towards the end of that round as well, I want to touch on for a second, Yeti, when we saw him trying to get a little bit more aggressive with his swing deeper to the inside after he had gotten droned out. He tries to make an aggressive swing, and it looks like, again, it's very questionable, but he was already in an exposed position there, so would have liked to see him be able to just get a bit more impact there. That could have changed up the way that that round played up, and if he had an option to, backing up might have also worked out for him as well, but he'd been kind of shuffled into a bad corner there, and him going down was really, at least for me, the siren call of the downfall of eUnited for the rest of that round there. Is once he went down, they just didn't have enough positioning to stop the remaining members of Disrupt from taking site control.
I completely agree with you. He really was the last bastion of defense there for them inside of statuary. You're not going to get it back after you give it up.
Yeah,
it's going to be very difficult. So
I just wish he played that slightly different as that
slower,
problem.
I would say.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like that it wasn't even necessarily a wide swing either. Like he used the 1.5 scope to his advantage. He took a very tight angle there to just try and pass some bullets through, maybe get some damage or bag himself a kill. I don't really think that he's thought that anyone was truly going to be ready for that, type of play there. And obviously they were. He gets taken out. It's a misplay, and that's just how it goes.
And it's kind of like he did have to move eventually, because there was the player at Astro with that, whether he was
just play his life as well. You know?
Like the player at Astro was more than, because there was a player right at Astro stairs. It was just a matter of them seeing him, and that would have killed him there. So, but yeah,
it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, we're harping on this a little too much, so we'll move on. Talk about this. I'm sad for him. Like I'm not giving him crap or anything. I'm just would have liked to see that played out differently. But either way, moving into the final round here, taking a look at what exactly eUnited are going to bring to the table. We will, of course, see quite a bit with regards to the north to south clear to start things out. Players already moving in, taking control of areas like the master bedroom, as well as Astro. Yeti's also going to hop in through connector here. So that entire northern quadrant is already pretty much under full control of eUnited here. Now it's just a matter of transitioning it into their actual execute position, which will still take some time, of course. So let's take a look and see exactly what the positions are looking like for some of these other players.
Well, it's going to be slow and steady here for eUnited. This is more than likely going to be a very site-centric thing here. They want to just try and get this diffuser down and play it as safe as possible. Don't think we're going to be seeing anything too crazy, as eUnited is crossing their T's and dotting their I's. Plenty of drone play, air jabs down. They're just checking off all the boxes, John. Looks like they want to try and get some hard destruction done here, so they have some vision onto the vault. going to smoke it off and then apply the band-aid where needed. Is exactly what's going to be done from Alfama, as he's now got the opening to play towards Vault.
Reed waiting for an opportunity to strike from the inside of Gun Vault 2. Quite a bit on the site itself here. We're going to see one smoke broiled out there, possibly two, and mask this attempt to open up the rest of the wall. They're allowing for possibly players to swing in there too, but it's going to quickly get impact denied anyway. So no success on that Selma toss out there, and that was the final one from Alfama. NJR escaping death as he tries to dart downstairs. Still going to run out in the process of this. Oh, and he catches cans in mid-swing. Even makes the animation glitch out a little bit there. Early advantage goes to Disrupt now as they bring it down to a 5v4, and eUnited primarily executing here from the red door now, with only Alfama trying to work his way in from Study, and Alfama having to be very careful, of course, because of that run out that just happened a few seconds before.
Could be a big problem, though. They still have EMPs as well as some smoke canisters, but only one canister remains. NGR with a nice pickup as he transitions through the air jab, but he's got so much coverage now, especially with this break inside of the wall. eUnited's going to have to transition somewhere else. I don't think they're going to be able to fight through bus door, but with very minimal time and a lot of decisions to make, eUnited is looking flabbergasted. They've transitioned over towards Classical Hall. They need the picks to happen now, though. Every single one of these doors covered. Grigster trying to force himself up main. This is looking like a Disrupt round all over. Oh, into the bar door, but sprays the alibi instead. Thought the rotate was there, but Disrupt nips it in the bud and sends us to a third map.
Disrupt, with too much control in sight, is able to finally secure things here on Villa after, much like our previous map, an incredibly elongated battle between these